What is up, people? It is me, Monster58. Welcome back to another video review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the SH Figuarts Vegeta from Dragonball Daima, well, the mini/kid version of him. Now, this is a figure. The only reason I'm going to be honest that I picked this guy up is because I got the kid version of Goku, as I mentioned in the previous review, which was the Dragon Ball SH Figuarts Dragonball Daima Goku, the mini/kid version. The link in the upper right, as well as in the description, if you wish to take a look at that review before you see this one. Because when I was looking at Vegeta, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't the biggest fan of how this figure looked. Sure, does it represent the character that we saw on screen relatively well? Absolutely it does. But do I like how he looks? I don't know, there's something about him that just looks... I know he's a kid, but it looks so unserious, like it's... I don't know, there's just something about the way that the figure looks that just screams like... don't take me seriously. And I get that, again, they're turned into kids, so at the end of the day, that's probably part of it, but there's something off-putting about it to me. But we'll get into that when we get into the review. But take a look at the box here. You can see the very nice, product shot here of Vegeta as he appeared in the Dragon Ball Daima anime, or when he was a kid, in figure form. You can see the very nice Toei Animation logo, the Dragon Ball Daima logo as well, the Tamashii Nations logo, and then this Bandai logo as well. You can see the Vegeta Mini Daima right there for the SH Figuarts logo as well. See some more nice text here on the side with the Vegeta Mini, with a Vegeta Mini and the Daima. More nice product shots here of Vegeta as he appears with the figure. And then your obligatory product shots, which obviously do look pretty solid. It's just, again, when you get this guy in hand, you'll see what I mean. I don't know. I think the proportions just... there's something just a tad bit off-putting about how this figure looks to me, and how the design looks in general to me. But overall, when it comes to the box, I think that Bandai kills it with the box. And so without further ado... Alrighty, folks, here we have the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Daima Vegeta as he appeared in the Dragon Ball Daima anime, but the mini/kid version out of the box. And I gotta say, guys, this guy looks just a little bit weird to me. I don't know if it's just maybe how big his head is. Again, I get what they were going for the chibi, style, and how skinny he actually is because he is obviously a kid. But it just always threw me off. I don't know, just like looking at this, even in the box. But it doesn't look bad by any stretch of the imagination. It just looks a bit weird to me proportionally. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I don't know. There's something off-putting about how this guy looks in terms of his proportions. But overall, when it comes to the actual details, this guy looks really, really good. So taking a look at the head sculpt here, you can see it looks really, really good. The details are very, very nice. The paint on the face looks really solid. Very nice around the board. The same hairstyle as... They said countless times, well, not countless times, but they said throughout the show that Saiyans retain their hair shape. They don't ever really change at all. But take a look here. You can see the very nice details on the Saiyan armor. Looks very nice, representative of how the actual Saiyan armor actually is. How it appeared in the show. Looks good here. Very nice detail on the back. Very clean as well. Looks really good. The boots look also really nice as well. Very, very solid overall. When it comes to the details, I have no major complaints when it comes to his details. And so... when it comes to his details, really solid stuff here, and again, no major complaints. I think he actually looks fine. It's, again, just the proportions of him that does maybe throw me off just a little bit. Again, that may be just me. I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section below if you guys wish to chime in on that point. I don't know. That's just how I feel, even looking at him in the box, right? So, what we're going to do here is we are going to do our size comparison. So, we are going to set Vegeta off to the side here, and I'm actually going to increase the height here, so... this works a little bit better. I might zoom out a little bit because we're at like 1.3, I think, for zoom. Let me just bring that up just a little bit. Alrighty, folks, so we'll set Vegeta off to the side here. Alrighty, folks, here he is with the Transformers Legacy United Infernac Universal X-Class Magnus. Just like Goku, he's about the size of Magnus's leg. So you can see he's pretty tiny, and so when it comes to his size, he scales perfectly fine. He is just very, very small. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I had to zoom out a bit more because obviously Goku is pretty tall, but here he is with the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Daima Adult Goku. As you can see, these two also look really solid together, but again, very much like Goku, he's about the size of Goku's leg. So you can see that he is relatively tiny, but he does represent his character and the size of his character very well. Alright, folks, here he is with his best buddy. Here he is with the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Daima Goku, the mini kid version. As you can see, these two look great together. Like I said in the Goku review, both of these guys in their kid forms are about the same height as one another, despite the fact that their adult forms are obviously a bit different. But overall, when it comes to how these two look together, they look very, very nice together. And finally, folks, here he is with his adult self. As you can see, these two look great together. This is, again, the size works perfectly fine here. He's about the size of adult Vegeta's leg. And all the details translate relatively well. These two look like exact, they're the same character, just technically in different stages of life. And I think that they did a really good job of sort of like, what you can see with Daima Vegeta is his face is a teeny bit more rounded, a bit chubbier. When it comes to adult Vegeta, he's a bit more angular, a bit more defined and everything like that, which shows his age and everything. So at the end of the day, I think they did achieve it very well when it comes to the sizing of this guy and how he looks, especially in comparison to his adult version. Alrighty, folks, it's time to get into the articulation, and it's very similar in when you're comparing the adult versions. Goku's adult version, Goku's articulation is a little bit hampered by the fact that he has his gi below his belt. And that also translates over to the SH Figuarts, the Dragon Ball Daima Kid Goku version. But when it comes to Vegeta, the advantage that I said with Vegeta is because he doesn't have any like external fabric or anything like that, right? That really gets in the way of any of his joints. That means that he can actually move better, and that is also the same thing here with Vegeta. Now, when it comes to the kid version of Vegeta here, now when it comes to the same point I brought up with Mini Goku, with the kid version of Goku from Daima, there is another issue in that it comes to be, when it comes to his size, it is obviously a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because this is the accurate size. It's a curse because when it comes to the fact that he is so tiny, that means that he just can't spread his legs all that much. He is very small, meaning his ground poses really are as dynamic as they could be, especially in comparison to if you were to have a standing, you were to do aerial poses. So like I said with Goku, you will get more out of the articulation if you have a stand that you can do aerial poses with this guy in comparison to ground ones. Now again, not like his articulation is bad, it's actually really solid. It's just on the ground, it's a bit hampered by his actual size, but because he's Vegeta, he does get a little more leeway because he doesn't have any of that extra gi, and so below his belt. So take a look at this, below his waist. Head is on a ball joint, and it's at the base of the neck and at the top of the neck as well, so you can do an up and down here. About that far as well. You don't really have an ab crunch, but you do have a full 360 here at the shoulders as well. I didn't show this. You can also do the wiggle waggle as well. Out, you can go in. Rotation, the upper part of the actually at the shoulder here. You have 90 at the elbow. And then you have was a ball jointed wrists as well. Oh well, more like they're the closest thing you can get to ball joints being this tiny. You also have butterfly joints. They're not as pronounced, but you do have a little bit of it because of how the ball joint is designed. You have a full 360 at the waist. Obviously, this is completely uninhibited. You can kick forward about that far, which is way more than Goku. You can kick back about that far. You have a teeny bit more than 90 at the knee right there. Rotation here at the knee as well. And then you have your ankle rocker pivot because there is a little ball joint there, and then your toes are also articulated in that way as well. So overall, when it comes to the articulation of this guy, like I told you, it is very solid. The only issue that I have is the fact that his size being so tiny means his ground poses, especially in comparison to his aerial poses, are a little bit left to be desired just due to the fact that he is, like I said, so small. Alrighty folks, and here are all the accessories that Vegeta comes with. Now this is where this figure, in my opinion, has a disadvantage in comparison to the Kid Goku version from Daima. This guy basically comes with the same exact accessories that the adult version comes with. Now I totally understand the fact that he never had a power pole, he didn't have anything like that, but it is a little bit disappointing, especially just like I will talk about with this figure. There's a huge issue I have with this, it's sort of a huger issue that I have with this figure, but like I said, we'll get into that in the conclusion, and that partly has to do, and very much has to do actually with the fact that this guy comes with basically the same amount of accessories that the adult version comes with. But taking a look at the accessories, first things first, you can see a very nice flowy hairpiece, just like the adult version comes with. It's nice to have this for key charging poses, key blasting poses, anything like that, but very similar to the adult version, very simple to get the faces on there, so you have your little peg holes there, then you have these pegs on the back of the faces, and then you can just peg them on there like that. And you have your new head. And then taking a look at the face here, this looks really, really good. Like this, yelling, screaming face looks great here. Then taking a look at the other ones, you can see the nice smirk face. That also looks very, very nice. And then you can take a look at the gritting teeth, angry face. Looks really solid as well. Very, very nice. But take a look at the hands. You do come with, well, there he goes. He tips over. And that's not his fault. That's the fact that my frickin' review studio will not stay flat as I would like it. But he comes with a regular sort of fighting pose, key blast pose hands. These look really, really solid. Again, they're very tiny. Then you have the fighting pose hands right here as well. Very similar to Goku's. They look good as well. You can barely see them. I'm sorry, my hands are so big in comparison to the frickin' hands. They're hard to see. And then he comes with his blast effect hands. So you can take a look at those. Those look pretty nice as well. So you'll see them there. But the other thing that he comes with, which is nice, is that he comes with his own version of his crossed arms. So obviously Vegeta's signature pose is that. So to do this, what you're going to do is you're going to pull his arms off. Now be very careful. The joints are very tiny, and they're very sensitive, and they're very fragile. So be very careful with how you rip his arms off. But you can, come on, yeah, pull them off like that. Pull it off like that. And then to do this, what you're going to do is I like to do the left, our right, his left first. Plug that in like so. And you'll see there's a little peg hole right there. And then you have this. You plug that in, and then you just sort of rest the rest of his arm there. And then there you have little Kid Vegeta with his crossed arms, and this does look really good. And then to sort of hammer home that, what I'll do is I'll change the face to the more smirky face here. And here we have Vegeta in his iconic pose just as a kid instead of an adult. Now, to change the fists out, they're very simple as well, but very similar to Goku. Because he is so tiny, the joints are tiny and they're fragile, so you want to just be very careful with how you change it. Come on, stand, man. There we go. So let's say here's his one arm. So this is his left, or this is our left, his right. So you just remove that. Again, you have the same sort of joint that you have with Goku. Then you can take the hand, so let's take a blast effect hand, and then you can just, there we go, got it right in, and it looks really, really solid. So sorry about that if I was going off camera just trying to push it in, but there you go. And then like I said, easy to remove, so just remove that. That was a little bit more of a struggle than I anticipated, but not too bad. And then you can just put the fist back on. So very simple to do that. So overall, when it comes to the accessories, it's not that he has any bad accessories. He actually has really good accessories. It's just that we'll get into that. Well, we'll get into the main reason why this is an issue for me when we get into the actual conclusion, which will be next, actually. And so, guys, for my final and concluding thoughts on the SH Figuarts Dragonball Daima Vegeta, the kid slash mini version, the major glaring issue I have with this figure is the price. Very similar to Goku, this guy's between $35 to $40, closer to 40 after tax. And my issue, just like I have with Goku, is the fact that the plastic count disparity between the adult version and these kid mini versions is just so huge. I mean, you saw that this guy's just the size of Vegeta's leg. Now, granted, I totally understand why they would charge the same amount, but at the same time, when you're thinking about it, look at the plastic count. He comes with about the same amount of accessories, the same exact accessories too, mind you. And in addition to that, he is charged the same price despite the fact that the actual figures themselves are so much, there's such a huge size disparity between them. And so at the end of the day, I actually think that this is closer worth to about $25 to $30 rather than 35. Arguably, you could argue 20 if you really wanted to. Not that it's a bad figure by any stretch of the imagination, but really it's that price that, in my opinion, holds this figure back. The other thing this figure doesn't do the best, very similar to Goku, is a small size means that he can't really have the widest, most dynamic poses because his legs only bend so much because he is so small. But other than that, the articulation besides that is actually good, and you'll get the most use out of it with the stand. I also think that the details are really good. His size is really good, and again, he comes with a solid amount of accessories. Overall, it is a solid figure. It's just that price that really, in my opinion, kind of screws with me. Is is it really worth close to $40? I think, like I said, closer worth more to $30 or $25, especially for Vegeta, because like with Goku, you get the power pole, and I get, like I said, for Vegeta, you didn't really have any other accessories that you could give him. It's just that Goku feels a little bit better because you do get the power pole. You also get the power pole sash. You just get that extra accessory that the adult version of Goku doesn't get. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to give this guy a 7 out of 10. I'm going to more hinge on the 7 rather than 7 to 8. This is more a flat 7 in my opinion. Again, really that price holds it back for me, but everything else is pretty solid. Again, the lack of the harder articulation because he is so small, that's the other reason that it's getting knocked down to peg. But other than that, would I recommend this figure? Same thing with Goku. If you get Goku, get this guy, because it'll be nice to pair them. Other than that, I can't necessarily recommend it. It's up to you. Again, for this figure, if I were to lean towards yes or no, gun to my head, probably not, just due to the fact that that price. Maybe at a discount, something like that, then I would absolutely recommend it, but not necessarily for 35 or 40 bucks. I think this is, like I said, more worth closer to 25 to 30, maybe 20 bucks. You could absolutely argue that. And so I did pick mine up IRL, so definitely be on the lookout at your local retailers, your Walmarts, your Targets, anything like that. I live here in North America, in the US, so that would be, the retailers I would be looking at. So look at any similar retailers, depending on whatever country you live in. This guy should be hitting store shelves right now, because I just found this guy a few days ago at my local Walmart. But I will leave links in the description to Big Bad Toy Store, to not Hasbro Pulse, to Entertainment Earth, as well as Amazon, if you guys do wish to pick this guy up for yourselves. And so I think that's really it. So I thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Also follow me on the socials. Those will be linked in the description below. And with that, guys, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video review. And I'll catch you on the next one. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.